Hi, welcome to Gotta Ping, a careers podcast you should listen to if you want to grow your career online and offline. Hi, my name is Mei Ping, and I'm a professional career coach and international speaker with more than a decade of experience at some of the biggest companies in the world. To learn more about what I do, visit meiping.com. That's meiping.com. All right, let's jump right into today's episode. Hello, everyone. This is Mei Ping, and welcome back to my Gotta Ping podcast, a podcast that you should listen to if you want to grow your corporate career. So we are still in my 30-day client success story series that I'm starting for this entire month. So for the next 30 days, I will be sharing 20 client success stories, either in improving their work confidence and work performance or improving their chances to land interviews as well as job offers. So some of these stories that I'll be sharing with you are clients who have worked with me in a one-on-one capacity, as well as some of my workshop participants who have attended my training but have seen significant improvement in their work performance or job search process as well. So these stories, I hope that you will find them inspiring as well as empowering, that there are people potentially in same situations like yours out there who have overcome challenges and really able to transform and grow their careers in whatever way possible. And I hope that this series also inspires you to also believe and take action to make the same reality for yourself, depending on your professional goals. All right. So today I actually want to share a story with you all for one of my clients who is a Dean's List high achiever in university, and he eventually returned from the UK to Malaysia and joined one of the main I can't name the company name, but he was accepted into one of the very prestigious management training programs at one of the biggest government-linked companies in Malaysia. So definitely a top performer, high flyer, somebody who had really done well in his studies and also received various scholarships as well. So when he first started in the management training program, everything was pretty okay. And as you all know, those who make it in management training programs normally are very ambitious. They are very motivated and dedicated, which is really great. But what was interesting is that when he first came to me, the main challenge that he told me he faced was that he felt that he is not standing out in terms of getting that visibility that he thinks he deserves. But second thing is that he also thinks that he is struggling to really deliver what was required of him, right? Because for a management training program, most of the time expectations are definitely higher. And he was also in a situation where he had to compete with other management trainees to come on top and eventually able to pick the most prestigious department to join. So that was the main issue that he came to me with. And what I did notice is that at the beginning, even though he was a high performer at university and was accepted to this prestigious management training program, what I noticed is that he still faced imposter syndrome, and he consistently felt that he was not doing enough. He consistently felt that the result that he was generating, the quality of work that he was generating was not good enough. And he also consistently felt that he could have gotten more attention. So these three signs that I've just shared with you, actually, these are really common things that top achievers feel, and how they approach their day-to-day work, in which they consistently feel like they should have done more and they deserve more. And when they feel like they are not getting that, it creates a lot of frustration and it creates a lot of self-doubt as well. So if you've ever been a top performer, I'm sure you can understand and resonate with these inner conflicts and challenges that my client was facing at that time. So when we first started working together, what I did with him was to first try to understand, right, where are all these imposter syndromes coming from, right? Was there an expectation versus reality that was really not correct in terms of like perception? Because actually this is something that is very common for fresh graduates or those maybe who have worked for less than 1 or 2 years. I find that actually it's such a common thing to think that the corporate world, think that the working world is supposed to be in a certain way. And when you join the company, you realize that, oh, it's not supposed to be like that. And this was not what I thought it's supposed to be when I graduated. And particularly for those who have done really well in universities, in most of the time, they might feel like they deserve that kind of success in the corporate world. And when it doesn't really happen, it kind of creates a lot of self-doubt and frustration in there. And that's something actually I go into a lot more detail in my 2-week Boost Your Confidence at Work training. But I just want to highlight here that these feelings of, unmatched expectation versus reality, it is really very real, and a lot of people do face that. So the other problem that my client had that he didn't realize is that he was actually too focused on gaining visibility and developing his personal brand. So if you've been following my content for some time, I'm sure you all know that I have a slightly different view on personal branding, particularly for corporate professionals. So this client of mine, he also fell into this mistake of thinking that, oh, I need to make an impact, I need to get visible, I need to make sure everybody knows me. So what happened was he went out volunteering for a lot of work because he was trying to stand out amongst his other management trainees. He was trying to get his bosses to know him. He was trying to get his senior stakeholders to think that he is very awesome. But the thing that he forgot to recognize is that he is still starting out in his career. So what that means is that he is still in the process of trying to find out how the company works, learning about the company culture, right? Deep diving into the industry, really learning how to work with really these real experts at his company. And those are a lot of foundational work that he should have been focusing on, which is improving his industry knowledge, improving his soft skills, improving his technical skills. These three important things was what he was supposed to focus on. But what he ended up focusing on, because of the whole personal branding thing, is I just want to get visible. I'm just trying to like put up my hand and volunteer for everything. So consequently, what happened was that eventually, clearly, he couldn't deliver because he lacked the foundational skills, which is industry knowledge, technical skills, and the core foundational soft skills that are required to do a really good job. So what happened was eventually everything blew up in his face because his boss was really unhappy, and he also couldn't deliver on a lot of the promises that he made, and that kind of dented his professional reputation a little bit, which was not a really good situation for him because he, came in he pretty much beat out hundreds of applicants to make it to like the top 12 management trainee program. So that kind of hurt his reputation a little bit. So I really had to work with him around really going down to the ground level and how to really schedule his day and schedule his goals over schedule his goals every month or so, like every 4 to 6 weeks. What are some of the things that he needs to focus on? How to give regular updates so that people know that he's progressing on his work, right? How to approach presentations so that he doesn't get annoyed when people don't agree with him. And just so you guys know, top performers do have this problem. They think that everybody is supposed to agree with them, and when they don't get that kind of agreement, they feel very frustrated, and sometimes they cannot control their emotions and they have bad temper, and that's not good. And that also happened to my client as well. So multiple problems, but over time, after working on like a lot of the communication with the bosses, right, really scheduling his work, how to manage workload, how to focus on which skills to improve, and so forth. I'm happy to announce that eventually at the end of his management trainee program, he was accepted to the top departments that the company has to offer. So it's a really, really good win for him. But then the next challenge now begins, which, okay, now he made it to the top. Now, how do we stay there? So we are still working together on how to better manage expectations, managing workload so that he does not necessarily volunteer for new things. And I think if you are a very young professional who has worked for 2 years or less, this habit of constantly volunteering for things or getting caught up in personal branding, definitely it is an ongoing process to align between what is out there on social media telling you guys what to do versus what you can implement at the real world, at the real corporate world. So I think the biggest win for this client is really able to help guide him navigate through what actually happens in the real workplace by upskilling some of the core soft skills that is required. But I think more importantly, helping him better understand how to leverage his achievement as top performer, right? His natural habit of, being motivated, being assertive, being dedicated, and not let that turn against him. Because if you're not careful, it can easily turn against you. And I understand this because I used to be top performer every single year when I was working in corporate. So some of these challenges I have faced before, and it did take me some time, or rather at that time, it took a little bit of time for me to learn, okay, there are some boundaries, there are certain things that I could do to better manage my work. There are just certain boundaries that I can focus / not focus on. So those were, I think, some of the main things that I could really impart to this client of mine. And because he's so young in his career right now, I think that there's a lot of room for him to grow. And I think if he is really able to navigate it more thoughtfully, then his career will definitely be a lot more smooth, and he's really able to leverage his status as top performer to move forward in his career and make sure that it doesn't hold him back. So that's it for today's story on my client's success in the corporate world. And I hope that this story has inspired you and also empowered you to really focus on the different perspectives and particularly the expectation versus reality. If you are a young professional who just graduated in less than a couple of years and you may feel that you are struggling in the workplace, rest assured there are a lot of other people like you out there also feel like they're struggling. But I'll tell you right now that a lot of it actually comes down to expectation versus reality. So you might want to go and speak to people who have actually been in the working world for some time so that you can get something a little bit more objective and practical as to what actually happens in the workplace. But aside from that, I also do run a 2-week boost your confidence and soft skills training where I will actually go through better understanding personalities, different people at work, the working dynamics, some of the soft skills, as well as the expectation versus reality bit that hopefully will give you a little bit more perspective and be able to better navigate the challenges at the workplace. So again, I hope that you have enjoyed this client success story series, and the stories have inspired you and empowered you to really take action to grow your career. Because if my clients can do it, I am sure that you can also do it as well. So with that, I'll see you in the next episode in this series. And in the meantime, keep inspiring and keep growing your career. Cheers. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode. For more awesome content like this, remember to like and subscribe. Also, head on over to my website, meiping.com, that's meiping.com, and subscribe to my weekly newsletter for more career growth and personal development tips. You can find the links in the description box below. Once again, you're listening to Gotta Ping, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!